Short windows with a ton of work for two contenders has us lined up for a midweek showdown. USL Championship action presented by Wheels gives us Miami FC matching wits with Birmingham Legion FC. And good evening, everyone. Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm David Gascon. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Well, Ricky, we have a couple squads trying to do their darnest to find any kind of rest anywhere they can get it.
And as we take a look at the table for Birmingham Legion sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference, so what does this look like? Playing on Sunday, nail-biting win coming into Miami, hot surface, hot climate, but for Miami FC, getting into a bit of a rhythm here. 3 games on the trot, you go to Oakland, you have a very good result, but last time you're on this field, you take on Inter Miami. For Anthony Peels, they need to take out all 3 points, and what an opportunity this is for Miami FC here tonight.
So piggybacking off that note, 4 matches in the last 11 days. This is the final hurdle, but they've sort of weathered the storm, haven't they?
You know, it's always going to be interesting how many games you had in such a close amount of time. You go to Oakland, this is your last game, but for Vegas, you're scoring goals. You start to see things starting to click on the attacking third for Miami FC and Anthony Peels. And then after this game against Vegas, you welcome in Inter Miami. So they knew they were going to have the ball a lot. They're going to defend a bit more, but they hit Miami FC, Inter Miami on the counterattack. Repetto and Sorto getting on the same page, and look for that to keep on going here today.
But Enzo Martinez, in the top-ranked team in the Eastern Conference, Birmingham, is coming to town. He's the reigning USL Player of the Week.
And you talked to Anthony Peels, you said, look, there's probably one of the top talented starting lineups for Birmingham Legion in all of USL Championship. Enzo Martinez has a very good feel for the game. He understands when to come to feet, but also when to play in the shoulders. Him and Kasim, you have Agudelo, players that have had so much success, not only USL, MLS, internationally. So look for those players to get in and around that 18-yard box and ask a lot of questions of Miami FC.
Well, it's the top-ranked offense of Birmingham coming to Miami against the stingy defense of Miami FC. When we come back, we'll get you the starting 11 and first touch. It's Birmingham Legion FC, Miami FC, coming up next.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Kendall,
Calle Ocho, Sweetwater, Homestead,
cortaditos y coladas
Empanadas y Croquetas.
is so much more. This is the 305.
This is who we really are. This is what we are all about.
I am Latino.
I'm a disruptor.
I am LGBTQ.
I am a villain.
I am a mother.
I am Haitian.
I am an athlete.
I am an activist.
I am a king.
I am American Dream.
I am the future.
I am
Miami
FC.
This broadcast is brought to you by FPL. Learn how FPL is investing in Florida's future at FPL.com/value. Volkswagen dealers of South Florida. Check out local offers at VWFlorida.com. And Wheels, the future of micro-mobility is here. And we are live here at FIU Stadium with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gascon. Ricky, the starting 11 for the home team.
You have to change a little bit with players out, players coming into form, but it all comes down to that front three, Sorto, Repetto, and Salazar. How quickly can they get on the same page and get comfortable? Akinyori, Valo, they're going to be the ones sitting and dictating the tempo, and you have Telfer and Segbers to provide the width and provide support system to that front three, Stanley, Craig, and Thorne. Stay compact, keep everything in front of you. Really talented starting 11 for Anthony Pulis here.
On the other side of things, for Birmingham Legion, the firepower up front, it is lethal, isn't it?
And just so much fluidity as well. Any player can hurt you, whether it's Martinez, Agudelo, Kasim. Asadou's going to sit a bit more. That's going to give the freedom for Cochran and Roof to join the attack as they see fit. But keep an eye on Colin Smith, a player that has a lot of firepower and a lot of engine to get into that final third.
Fascinating matchup with these two squads, just because you look at the styles, Ricky. It's the offense of Birmingham, it's the defense of Miami. But the one thing that factors into all this is it's not like where Miami had to travel to Northern California a few days ago. Both these teams are quite comfortable in this kind of a weather environment.
It's always going to be interesting from this Legion side. You talk about last time out, Miami going to Oakland, Legion hosting Hartford, but the way that they won and the fashion that they won. So expect them to be confident as well.
Yeah, late game heroics again from Enzo Martinez on a corner kick, set things up. Crognale with the game-winning goal in stoppage time, and they came from behind to dump Hartford. 3-2 was the final score in that one. But you'd mentioned it with Martinez. He's not the only striker on this squad. Him and Kasim tied for the team lead with 3 goals apiece.
Just so many weapons for Tommy Sohn, whether it's Agudelo, he's going to be the one that stays high and occupies the back line for Miami FC, and that's going to give the freedom for Martinez to roam around, as well as Kasim. Those 3 players, very talented. Combination play, the movement, playing with each other. It's a big challenge for the back line for Anthony Pulis' boys.
Well, I'll tell you what, one guy that's excited about this thing is Christian Sordo as he goes down. So we got some early contact just outside the 18. It's a good indication here for the home squad.
And once again, we've seen it over the course of the last couple of days as Repetto comes deep. Christian Sordo is the one that presses high and expands the attacking unit for Miami FC. Very crafty, very slippery 1v1.
So just into the second minute, golden opportunity here as Christian Sordo had gone down. Sordo had scored a couple of goals in back-to-back matches, scored once against Las Vegas, and then the first marker, he did so against Inter Miami in that third-round U.S. Open Cup matchup, one that eventually Miami FC fell in penalties 5-3. Stanley to the right of Sordo. See who takes this. It will be Sordo with the strike, and he scores! Christian Sordo continues to be white hot for Miami FC. A marker here in the second minute, and it's 1-0 Miami FC.
He's the one that draws the foul, and he has a lot of options. He can go up and over the wall, underneath the wall. But he says, no, I see Spangenberg cheating a little bit. Let me just put my laces through it and just rope this thing into that far corner. Spangenberg was going to want this one back, but Sordo hits it extremely well. Pace, precision, quality, all the above. Dream start here for Miami FC, 1-0 in the third minute.
It's almost like Sorto's ears were ringing, because we were talking about him prior to tonight's match, and now he comes in immediately with a quick strike after he drew the foul. It's his 3rd goal in the last 4 matches if you include Open Cup activity, and it's 1-0 Miami.
And he's been such a bright spot for Anthony Pulis. You ask him what's working, he said, look, he's just a hard worker, very selfless. The way that he likes to run for the team, open up space for other players around him. And he also has the final execution, the quality to put the ball in the back of the net.
Massive play for Sordo to pick that corner. And for Christian Sordo, he's now tied for the team lead during the regular season with Paco Craig. Should be a handball, and it is. Each player have 2 goals on the season. As we take a look now at the injury report. A couple guys banged up. This is all brought to you by your Volkswagen dealers of South Florida. Check out local offers at VWFlorida.com today. Salazar out wide. Michael's been amongst the starting 11. He's come in as one of the impact players for Anthony Pulis. He doesn't get discouraged whether the playing time's a lot or a little.
And we just look at the injury report, so now it's an opportunity for Salazar to say, look, when we're at full strength for Miami FC, when the 11 comes out, I need to be on that starting 11. So what does his relationship look like between him and Claudio Repetto, Christian Sorso? It's a big opportunity for the right winger.
Sorto's goal in the 2nd minute, brought to you by Wheels. Here's Segbers outside to Salazar. Salazar trying to give it back. Below with good support here. The cross, nobody around for Miami FC yet. Telfer, Sorto, Bolu. Here's Christian looking to eat more. Christian with the chip. Ooh, he was searching for Salazar. Not enough air underneath it. Birmingham Legion coming into this contest. They've conceded now 11 goals. They've scored 13 of them. Back on the attack, Salazar for Repetto. No numbers, though, for Miami.
It's really good work there from Salazar to track back and just pick the pocket of Aseyadu. So far, Miami FC has been the first to every loose ball, winning every 50-50. The spacing has been terrific in terms of their passing ranges and playing between lines.
Sorto was the intended target. That pass was broken up nicely. Played back the other way by Birmingham and Colin Smith. Paco Craig had a chance to chat with him a few days ago. He likes actually playing this amount of games in a short period of time. Drastically different than his head coach.
As a player, you just want to play as many games as you can. An opportunity to compete against other teams. Get tired of just kicking yourself and training the same guys in the locker room. But coaches obviously want the recovery. They want the ability to tweak things. But as a player, you just want to showcase yourself, and games give you that opportunity to do just that.
7th minute. Goal number 1 of the night for Christian Sorto. And the match's first shot. Eerily reminiscent of what they did last Wednesday against Inter Miami. Different dog they're up against, and the question is, will they hold on this time? To be fair, that's one of the things that Paco Craig did elaborate with us, is that they weren't playing as aggressive as they would have had they been down a goal or even with Inter Miami. This is a USL Championship match. Not to say they'd take anything different against Inter Miami, but nevertheless, points are at a premium here tonight. They need 3. They only have 1 win in the season. That was about a week ago when they blasted Las Vegas 4-1. And for Birmingham, they come in with a 5-2-1 record, but they get behind the 8 ball early here.
It's just a terrific strike. The ability to hit a dead ball, but with pace and power. You can put a lot of whip on it, but if you're Spangenberg, it gives you time, but you put the power behind it as well. Just terrific there from Sorto. Picks out that top corner. But him and Repetto have a very good relationship. We saw it in Vegas. We saw it against Inter Miami as one comes deep, one stretches and tests the shape of the opposition. When you have 2 players on the same page in that final third, it's a nightmare to defend.
Well, coming into this contest, Miami had been shut out in 4 of its 8 matches. Not tonight. Conversely, though, Ricky, it's a fascinating animal when you look at Birmingham, because they come into this contest having scored in 7 of the 8. So different styles make different fights.
When you also see 13 goals on the season, you have Nico Brett on the bench, Tyler Pasher on the bench, the talent that Tommy Sohn has on his disposal, especially on the front line.
Yeah.
Can turn the game in a drop of a hat. But they're very good. The different weapons, the creativeness between Martinez floating around, Kokorin, Aseyadu as the pivots in the center of the park.
Well, they get after it, that's for sure. Mensah out wide. He did not start in the contest against Hartford. You talk about the offensive prowess of Enzo Martinez and Prosper Kasim. They do a lot of the heavy lifting, make no mistake about it. But they're not alone. Kasim doing a wonderful job of setting up everybody. He's got 3 helpers on the year. So 3 assists go a long way. Nico Brett, as you mentioned, I spoke earlier, but he's got 3 goals. So Brett and Martinez, the 3 aside. And for Martinez, it's huge for him to get off to the right start because of what he did last year. He had a fantastic campaign in 35 matches. He scored 15 goals, led the team.
He's just so special, the success that he's had in the USL Championship, but the ability we talked about in the Open to read the game, to play what the game gives you.
Mensah plays this one through. That one blocked on the way through by Stanley.
Again, we just see the rotations in the center of the park for the Legion. That's your left back advancing right on top of that 18-yard box. And as Martinez draws a very dangerous and clumsy challenge here from Paco Craig. Gives Birmingham Legion a sign of life. After that goal went in, starting to get on the ball a bit more, take the sting out of the game.
There's Anthony Pulis, second season as head coach of Miami FC, formerly of Inter Miami. Sergei Damianchuk, our lead official today. So almost identical proximity as you get a look at Jake Maguire. Maguire getting his 2nd start of the year for Anthony Pulis. This is coming on the heels of what he did at Oakland. Didn't see a lot of traffic. Had 4 shots come his way. He gobbled them all up. The cross a little bit too long on that attempt, and it goes out of bounds and results in a goal kick. See Kavita there, the intended target. But always a good sign when you get Maguire in his first look. It's on the road. Got to imagine the nerves are there, but playing away from your hometown crowd probably allows you to settle in quicker.
And he's a big signing for Miami FC. Connor Sparrow goes out to Tampa Bay Rowdies. Who is going to take hold of that position? He brings in Deas on a season-long loan, but Maguire, again, experience in USL Championship, professional through and through. Great spot for Soto there.
Yeah, played collegiately at Tulsa. Remember the American Athletic Conference, was all tournament his senior year there. Made 67 appearances during a 4-year span with Tulsa. And pretty good career collegiately. He ranked 1st all-time in shutouts, minutes, and games played. In fact, 17 shutouts in a 4-year span. It's pretty strong. 12th minute here. Christian Sordo on a free kick. Ooh, the look from Segbers to Velo, and Velo is asking to be fed way out in front, not behind him. Movement up front. Aguadelo Maguire got a paw on it, and then it hit the bar. Oh, the dangerous strike for Menzo Martinez in search of his 4th goal in 2 contests.
And we've talked about the spacing from the Legion. As Agudelo comes in, you see Martinez, he understands, if I just hang out, I have a pocket of space. Doesn't need a second invitation to pull the trigger. But what a save that is from Maguire. Just punches it off the crossbar. Talking to Anthony Peels, he said, look, that front 3, we can't give them the time and space to turn around and face our own goal. They're too good, they can hurt us.
Got to be quick and attack. That one just over the bar as well. Maguire did have a beat on it on that occasion. Bernali was the one who scored the game winner against Hartford. Had another good look there.
Already 2 goals on the year. Bernali has a very good nose for goal, especially on set pieces. As he comes across, beats his defender, just rises up, beats Bolu, beats Paco. Just so unlucky not to get underneath that crossbar.
Nearly identical to what Paco Craig does on set pieces for Miami FC. Crognale does the same. The 27-year-old from Columbus, Ohio. Here's Curtis Thorne.
It's going to be a big challenge defensively for Akinyoti and Velo. It's the way that Birmingham Legion like to play into the feet of Agudelo. Martinez coming underneath him, Kasim as well. So once that ball goes by you, your job is not done. You need to have the ability to back press to help a Curtis Thorne, a Paco Craig, and even Stanley to double down on that front line from the Legion.
Kavita Mensah on the touch, switching pitch all the way out to the right side. Miami scored Lone marker in the second minute. As Smith goes down there. One of the things that Anthony Pulis, it felt like he had a pretty good voice inflection. Even though we chat with him, it sounds pretty much the same across the board. Was when we asked him what weaknesses Birmingham had, and he feels like they exposed themselves defensively.
You play route one, get in behind. That's why we saw Repetto and Sorto, the understanding ability that Birmingham Legion likes to play.
Kokorin delivering this one up. McGuire coming out and gets two hands on, secures it nicely. Cavito was there tracking it, but to no avail.
Going back to the point we were talking about, the way that Legion likes to play, they like to overexpand, play extremely wide, play extremely vertical as well. So if you have that back line to step up, it leaves you extremely vulnerable going back the other way. So Sorto, his movement in transition moments is going to be extremely key. Just giving Miami FC an outlet to catch this Birmingham Legion side.
A fascinating performance a few nights ago for Miami when they played at Oakland. It was a scoreless draw, and in that match, Miami didn't have a single shot in the opening half. And then all of a sudden, 2/3 through the match, they just woke up, relatively speaking. Not to say that they were playing in sleepwalk mode, but their offense got ignited. Flo Below hit the crossbar in the closing moments, and it was just a completely different team. The result was still the same, but it feels like Miami has carried that play over here into the first 15 minutes plus.
What Anthony Pulis said, our performances have improved drastically. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when they were starting to hit the back of the net.
Stanley here has resulted in an own goal! Talk about luck for Miami FC. They continue to make it. A week ago, the same thing happened. Miami on the board for the second time tonight. It's 2-0. It's a look of disgust, Ricky, but nevertheless, Miami's going to take it every single day.
And when you whip the ball into a dangerous situation, good things happen. You have Curtin Store and you have Aiden Stanley over the ball, the in-swinger. I think it's a bit of confusion between Spangenberg and Cornali. Who's going to get it? As this ball goes over the head of Spangenberg, Cornali is too flat-footed. You can just see he doesn't get his feet underneath him. Hits him awkwardly on that right leg, goes in. Like you mentioned, David, Miami FC will take it. That man will certainly take it. When you start to see the ball hit the back of the net, not once, but twice, things start to click, and Miami FC haven't really got any bounces earlier in the season, so things are about to change now for Anthony Pulis.
That's an unbelievable outcome. You talk about the circumstances. Now, this didn't happen according to plan last week against Inter Miami, but if you weren't able to watch that match, Miami FC scored early in the second minute because of Sorto, scoring the opening goal. Then when they were tied 1-1 in extra time, they took the lead with an own goal from Inter Miami. That shot's gonna miss wide. So they had the lead late in that contest. They eventually fell in penalties 5-3, but nearly identical with the results. 2 goals last 2 weeks. Both of them Sorto and then an own goal.
Well, now for Miami FC, you have to be extremely careful. You're up 2-0, you can't get complacent. You can't think this game is done and dusted. We see how good the Legion are. A shot from distance from Enzo Martinez, Kasim coming around the corner. The ability to score goals and score them extremely quick from this Legion side. And that's something that also we talked to Anthony Pulis about that Las Vegas game. So if we went up 4-0, maybe we got a bit too chill, lackadaisical, didn't really stay focused. But against this Birmingham Legion side, the top of the Eastern Conference for a reason. So you have to stay turned on from minute 1 to minute 90.
Well, always important in matches like this, no matter if you have a 1-goal lead or above that, to continue to put your foot on the gas, like you mentioned, because Miami right now comes into this contest and they're in 7th place in the East. Birmingham is number 1. And it's always human nature, right? You mentioned having a 4-0 lead, you concede a goal, but also when you get the top-ranked team in the conference coming to town, it gets your juices flowing a little bit smoother.
And I think for Miami FC as well, they know after this game they have 10 days off to their next game as well. So if you exhaust the tank here, you have a well-deserved break. You know, the players are looking forward to it, and so is Anthony Pulis. Playing 3 games in 6 games, in 6 days, excuse me, 4 and 11. It's never an easy feat.
Well, in USL Championship action, as it stands, they're undefeated in their last 3. It's their longest unbeaten streak since 2002 in October, where they went unbeaten in 8 straight. Well, they would love to get to that mark, but they want to get there by racking up W's. They're done with the draws. If you're coming into this contest, you're looking at them. They have 1 win, 2 losses, and 5 draws. Well, Martinez hit the crossbar. And then after that, Crognale with an own goal. And Birmingham is in some hot water, no pun intended.
Well, defensively, you see how Miami FC is setting up, excuse me, in a 4-4-2. You drop Sorto next to Akinyoti. Velo goes wide, makes things extremely tight and compact in the center of the park, part of the park for Birmingham Legion. So how quickly can you move the ball and play off the shoulder of those center midfielders to find Enzo Martinez in those half spaces that he's so good at finding?
Kasim continues to move out there. Here's Smith, and a north and south approach, but that was ripped out of his dribble. Back comes the other way. Salazar, he goes down. Crognale with a interesting foul there. We mentioned the U.S. Open Cup, Ricky, and Miami FC eliminated last week by Inter Miami, but Birmingham, not that way. They won in penalties in their 3rd round matchup against Chattanooga FC, and now they get Memphis 901 in the 4th round of U.S. Open Cup.
You have to feel extremely confident if you're Tommy Sohn. We saw some of the draws that came about that. USL teams traveling to MLS teams, so odds stacked against you. Great move there.
Sweet Telfer puts this one through, and Bish is trying to split multiple defenders to get it over to Salazar. Repetto was dropping back. Yeah, an interesting dynamic because you have a lot more MLS teams scored up against each other, not as many USL Championship teams still left in the tournament, but nevertheless, you don't have a lot of USL on USL crime. Mensah trying to put that in a tight space for Kasim. Asiadu. There's a lot of chatter on the pitch. Smith lobs this one up, but nicely played out by Segbers. Martinez. Birmingham looking to cut into this deficit. Sorto in the 2nd minute. And an own goal resulting in a 2-0 Miami lead. Repetto on this attack. Crognale fending them off nicely. Always helps when you're 6'5" and 205 pounds.
But those are the situations that we're talking about for Miami FC, turning your defensive efforts into attacking opportunities. It's a good look there from Sorto. Just not hit with enough pace and too much weight behind it to play it in front of Repetto. We give credit to Crognale, positioning to perfection to deny Miami FC a transition moment.
Something to be aware of for Birmingham, being overextended. Something I would imagine Miami FC goes back to at some point, whether in this first half or later on in the affair if they need to. Martinez wanted to get it back. Kasim, some space to Mensah. Mensah has 2 near the 6, broke it up nicely. Curtis Thorne. Mensah trying to draw a foul. Belly flopped on that. Well, Ricky, you've had an opportunity to look at Birmingham from 30,000 feet. What has impressed you so far about their season?
I just think the fluidity that they play between lines, whether it's this man on the ball pulling the strings from a deep line position. We keep talking about Enzo Martinez, such a special player in this league. He can hurt you, whether it's direct, whether it's playing in between lines, the combination play, and just the talent that Tommy Sohn has on this roster. It's a very difficult thing to construct a roster and have players that want to stay in Birmingham or any club around the USL and say, look, this is where I want to be because I believe in the project that's happening. I believe in the coach. The Legion are building something here, and they're going to be, I think, towards the end of the year, sitting at the top of this Eastern Conference. Talk to anyone around the league, says there's no comparison in terms of the talent that they have. It's just top class.
Which is interesting because you said building, not rebuilding, where some teams were completely scrapped, like Las Vegas. And all of a sudden, you have Birmingham that comes in, just minor tweak here, minor tweak there, and then boom, they're still in the top of the charts in the Eastern Conference.
And you just even look at the bench, Nico Brett, the success and the goal-scoring history that he's had in our league, and then you have Tyler Pasher coming in from MLS, the ability to, I mean, there's an argument to be had that he might be the most talented player in all of the USL Championship. Just, it can hurt you in so many different ways, as Tommy so inside.
Certainly high praise for a deep roster. In Birmingham, 5-2-1 this season. They're good for 16 points. In Miami FC, right now, behind them by 8. Of course, you want to go into real time, they would have 11 points, but that's neither here nor there. 26th minute, glad you can be here with us. Birmingham last year, they finished with 17 victories, 10 defeats, and 7 draws. 58 points, they were 4th best in the Eastern Conference. They had a goal differential of +19. Different way that they attack the opposition compared to Miami FC. Enzo Martinez with 15 goals in the year. Kasim had 9 of them in 31 matches. But they eventually got beat by Pittsburgh in the USL Championship playoffs, 8-7 in penalties. Can you imagine if that would have happened last week against Inter Miami? A dramatic finish for Miami FC and Inter Miami. It did not go to Miami FC, even though they played a heck of a match. Outnumbered and for long stretches outgunned. But the talent of Inter Miami and the depth in their roster in terms of reserves proved to be too much in the end. Martinez trying to get around Paco Craig. He can't. Agudelo gives it up on the right-hand side, wants to get it back. He does, pulls the strings on it. Aiden Stanley again in front of it.
When we talk about spacing for the Legion, it's your left-sided center back that's all the way to the touchline. You play interior into an Enzo Martinez. Agudelo gets on the ball, and then it's your right back, Roof, getting involved. Just the ability to change the point of attack and play between lines quickly. Legion can display.
Kasim line drive, Martinez a hopper to him. Sekber's marked him nicely. It's a good heads up play. It just seems, Ricky, that Aiden Stanley never gets out of trouble. He's never out of place.
Just think about his positioning and the ability to read a game and know when to stay compact, when to expand. The ability we've talked about him with Anthony Pulis, and the versatility to play as a wing back, to play as a center back. It gives the coach like an Anthony Pulis so much freedom and just a joy to honor to have him on the roster.
I gotta imagine the same breath too. It probably relieves a lot of stress.
Exactly.
which the goal is for all these players is to make life easy for your teammates and the coach. Asiadu, Mensah, Agudelo. Somehow that ball got to him and went underneath Thorne. Fortunate enough, that didn't result in a goal.
You just see how many numbers they commit forward from this Legion side. That man is always playing off the shoulder. His movement in and around that 18-yard box, we've seen it throughout his career. The ability to get on the end of things, but then you draw in an Enzo Martinez, a Prosper Kasim around the corner. Overloads all over the field from this Legion attacking unit.
Back to a corner kick here. That header was way off the mark for Birmingham. 29th minute. If you're just joining us, an own goal in the 16th minute. Alex Cronali giving Miami FC a 2-0 advantage. Christian Sordo in the 2nd minute. And right now it is all Miami FC.
As this ball comes over, Spangenberg, you just see maybe Cronali doesn't read the flight, thinks his player's going to get it. It's been probably the first 10 minutes was extremely flat for Birmingham Legion. Agudelo goes up for it. Spangenberg stays on his line. Cronali doesn't read the flight. Miami FC 2-0 up.
And that look said it all, too, because he knew it was going in as
Yeah.
soon as it touched his foot.
And it's difficult. You talk about a turnaround as well. You're playing on a Sunday, probably a Monday or Tuesday. It's a travel day, so you don't really have that full recovery playing in such a short amount of time for this Birmingham Legion side. And as this game is wound down, there's an argument to be had that they've gotten the ball a bit more in the last 5 to 10 minutes and probably been the better side of creating chances.
Well, the one area of concern, if you are a Miami FC fan, is what Birmingham has done this season. In fact, they have captured 9 points from a losing position. That's #1 in USL Championship. So although you score a couple goals in the first 16 minutes, they're not going to bat an eye.
It's all about the emotions and closing out a game here for Anthony Pulis. And what I mean by closing out a game, it's 30 minutes in, but the ability to just keep your foot on the pedal, to keep looking for that third goal, move the ball from left to right, get him service. Claudio Repetto, extremely quiet. So if you get him on the ball, it requires so much attention. You free up a Christian Sordo, in around that final third.
Below, good job against Mensa, winning that ball cleanly, too. Looked over him for a hot minute. Back comes Salazar. Little soft in that delivery, though, to Sorto. And back comes Colin Smith. Great anticipation from Colin. Back, Birmingham on the attack. Watch out for Martinez. He has it now. Martinez on the left-hand side. Agudelo against Segbers. A double team comes immediately. There's Paco Craig to clean things up.
Terrific defending there from Miami FC. As Enzo just whips his ball out to Agudelo. Just look at the recovery from Paco Craig to help Segbers come across. Agudelo has nowhere to go. If he goes down the line, Paco Craig's covering it. Mark Segbers doesn't draw in, moves his feet. Terrific defending in unit from Miami FC.
Wow, that's a great look from our guys, because that thing was quick from Paco Craig. He wasted little time to get over to make that intercept and break it up. .30-second minute here. Agudelo wants to get it back from Mensa. A little soft on that pass. Here's Mensa again. Martinez. Ooh, Salazar with a difficult challenge there. Not great delivery there for Salazar, and the look of disgust on his face, because he knows he did something wrong there.
Yeah, he just gets caught in the wrong position. Talk about the ball circulation, the quick combination play on top of that 18-yard box from the Legion. As this ball goes into Corcoran, gives any sort of contact from Salazar was going to go down. And a very dangerous set piece here for the Legion.
Corcoran, you saw, I think one of the important parts, he wasn't embellishing at all, so made the call that much easier. And now if you're Birmingham, who's taking this?
Choose your poison. Very talented players over this ball. Seydu, Enzo Martinez, Prosper Kasim.
Golden opportunity here for Birmingham. Martinez, Kasim. It will be Martinez with the punch that hits the wall. Not enough lift on that. Miami's defense holds serve. Bolu would get this thing out of harm's way. It'll result in a corner kick. Did you like the idea, though, from Martinez?
It's always difficult to get it up and over the wall. He elects to go, I think, to the keeper side. Give credit to Miami FC defensively. 34 minutes in, been top in terms of their positioning and togetherness.
Kasim again on service. Cronali again for the second time on a header. Goes away from target. He's certainly feeling it, not playing his A game yet. Salazar, and held up a little bit. That should result in a yellow card. That's exactly the case. Looked like an odd man rush. And Birmingham will have to suffer their first yellow card of this match.
And it's all about transition moments for Miami FC. As the Legion like to commit so many numbers forward, it leaves them extremely vulnerable going back the other way. Corcoran understands that if Salazar gets on the end of this thing, there's tons of real estate to operate in. It's a professional foul from him. He needs to be extremely careful in the center of the park and discipline the challenges that he decides to go into and his positioning.
Always a time and a place for a yellow card. Corcoran right there, as you mentioned, that's out of necessity. You let Miami get up 3-0, you can close up shop and head back home to Alabama. I've got to imagine plenty of people around USL Championship shocked to see the beginning outcome of this contest. It's a light menu in USL Championship tonight, and so you look at the top-ranked team in the Eastern Conference getting jumped on early 2-0 by Miami. Make your head spin a bit. But make no mistake about it, even the own goal that was in the 16th minute, it was delivered because of Aiden Stanley in the corner kick. Agudelo, sweet chip, Enzo Martinez, Maguire the first one, Martinez gets it back. Enzo Martinez in the 36th minute, crisp passing from Birmingham on a counter, and they've cut the deficit in half, 2-1.
We've talked about the talent. We've talked about their creativeness in their final third. As Enzo Martinez lets this ball goes by, you look at Agudelo. He understands that the ball's going to come towards me. I just hold off Curtis Thorne. It gives me a ton of space and real estate just to drop this ball off into the path of the oncoming Enzo Martinez. And when you give a player of that quality the second bite of the apple, he's never going to make a mistake. Enzo Martinez, 2-1. Miami FC cuts the lead in half.
Oh, a beautiful feed, but the goal for Martinez now is team leading 4th goal of the season. And he's now scored 3 goals in the last couple of matches. Miami leads 2-1.
And it's all about the hold-up play, that situation there from Agudelo. If he comes to the ball, it closes down the gap. He just hangs out, holds off and shields off Curtis Thorne. That gives Enzo Martinez the ability to make that secondary run. Put the ball into the back of the net, and now we have a game in this first half.
So Martinez bearing that shot against Maguire. It disrupts a pretty good flow for Miami FC heading into this contest. They had shut out 6 of their first 8 opponents in the opening half.
You start to see the Birmingham Legion start to come alive as this first half progressed. They're getting on the ball to find those half pockets, runners off of each other.
They'll be offside. Martinez tried selling it. Oddly enough, Ricky, coming into this affair, plenty of folks in Las Vegas, the bookmakers had the over-under total in this thing at 2.5, and now we're at 3, and we're only 37 minutes into this contest, 38.
We just look at the rotation. That's Prosper Kasim all the way on the touchline, and Agudelo is just so smart. He understands if I come to the ball, that doesn't give Enzo Martinez the ability to make that run. Plays off Curtis Thorne, and then we've seen throughout his career just the ability to bring other players in. Enzo Martinez reads the game to perfection, puts the ball into the back of the net. Just a top-worked goal from Birmingham Legion.
Yeah, and for Martinez, that's now his 61st goal in USL Championship. He's one of only 5 players to have combined 100 goals and assists. 61 goals and 40 assists, good for 101. You look at the productivity right there. That is filthy.
Players who score goals, but also bring players in. Just terrific stuff there from Enzo Martinez. I mean, it's not going to be the last we see of him, ability to get into that final third, to create for himself, to create for others.
Strong as it is. 63 goals, and he's not letting up. The 32-year-old from Uruguay doing the damage here in the 36th minute. But again, as you'd mentioned, Agudelo doing a good job of filling the defense. Not leaving for Martinez, and he does the rest. One chance at target's interesting, but a second one from point blank, you can call it a day.
And McGuire does extremely well to deny him in that first opportunity. Enzo Martinez so opportunistic, never takes no for an answer, especially inside that 18-yard box. Now what does this look like for Miami FC? The last 10 to 15 minutes, got away from on the ball a bit more. Great ball.
Ooh, good one too for Repetto. He'd love to have a reprieve on that one. The body language says it all for Claudio.
And you want to see Mark Segbers get into that final third a bit more if you're Anthony Peels. The ability to whip a good ball in from a deep line position, the speed that he has, Repetto did extremely well to make that near post run. But it's always going to be a difficult technique when you're wider than the post to come across your body to get it on target.
It's been a rare look after the first 15 minutes of action for Miami FC.
I just think you need to find whether Salazar or Sorto in those holes. The way that Miami FC likes to play, playing through lines, whether it's your withdrawn number 10 to play and keep Repetto high. That puts a lot of decisions in the hands of that back line of the Legion.
Sergei Damianchuk directing some traffic here, talking to Mensah. So Enzo Martinez's 63rd goal in USL Championship, adding with his 40 assists. Comfortably able now to eclipse Haji Berry. Haji Berry is no longer in USL Championship, formerly with Colorado Springs last year. Salazar to Velo. Not think that we'd have a 3-goal outburst in the first half, but these things are often unpredictable. Sergei Damianchuk trying to hold things up. Speaking of which, Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.com. Select-sport for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Sorto, second goal of the season. Martinez, his 4th. Those are the 2 markers for Miami and Birmingham, along with a Alex Cronali own goal. And that's where we stand. Maybe more. Oh, that one played through at the last second, but Cronali got a boot on it.
And we haven't seen much of Ryan Telfer, such a special player for this Miami FC. Talking about relationships, once again, it's Sorto that comes into the interior. Telfer providing the width, but once he gets into this position, he has 2 options, whether it's a cut back to Repetto or played into the path of Salazar. When you have a center back like Cronali that has the ability to read the game, he cuts it in half and picks his poison, denies Miami FC probably the 3rd goal in this first half.
Well, they've excelled this year on set pieces, has Miami FC. See if they can pick up more late life. Thorne on this corner. Corner kick brought to you by your Volkswagen dealers of South Florida. Thorne on service. Looking for Telfer, that header off the mark as he goes down. No foul called. Salazar with a move. Left-footed strike, and that one's on target, but an easy stop by Spangenberg. He ditches the cap, and now he looks much more comfortable, I would imagine.
It's been a while since I've seen a keeper wear a hat in goal.
I don't think I've ever seen a keeper wear a hat.
You gotta love it, the fashion points.
You take what you can get. Got to make sure you're color coordinated, though, of course. We're in a pretty fluid opening half, so we'll be curious to see how much stoppage time we're allotted. His roof was dropped.
Well, it's interesting. You see how the Legion like to build out. Whether it's Cornell and Kavita, they like to stay home. But their outside backs push extremely high, whether it's Mensa, whether it's Smith. And then it's that third midfielder. On the right-hand side, it's Kokore. On the left-hand side, it's Roof that play withdrawn. We talk about leaving yourself extremely vulnerable. One turnover, and it's a 3v2 going back the other way for Miami FC. So how clean can they be in their build-up phase in the passes that they decide to pick out for Birmingham Legion?
Agudelo and Thorne recapturing their kinship here in the closing minutes of this first half, 45th minute. It looks like we'll have no stoppage time. I can't remember it happening on a regular basis, but it has for Miami in their last 3 matches. They've had an opening half with no stoppage time. McGuire will get rid of this thing. Sergei Damianchuk will look at the watch, blow the whistle, and that'll conclude things for the opening half of action here at FIU Stadium with Miami FC. And that man right there, Christian Sordo, his 2nd goal of the season. And minute number 2 got them off and running early on. Miami FC into the halftime locker room up by a goal.
Yeah, you need to get him more involved. It was so good in the first 20 to 25 minutes, but faded towards the end. That's when you start to see Birmingham Legion get on the ball a bit more. Enzo Martinez, Prosper Kasim came alive in those half pockets, but all comes down to feeding Agudelo for the Legion. Get him involved, get players underneath around him. But for Miami FC, get on the ball a bit more. You were so good in the first half of that first half. Second half, get on the ball, pull the strings, get your front line the serves that they want.
The start was good. Now it's all about closing. Miami looking for their 2nd win of the season. We'll see if they can do that, but rest and recuperation as we have reached the break. Sorto with a goal, his 2nd of the season. Enzo Martinez, his 4th of the year for Birmingham. And in 45 minutes of play, Miami leads by a score of 2-1.
No one was born a hero. It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
Welcome to the FBL halftime report presented by Macron. Miami FC leading Birmingham Legion FC by a count of 2-1. Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm David Gascon. Ricky, we're at half right now, but got to hit the rewind button. If we may, the Miami Classico a week ago tonight. Oh, a lot of drama.
You wanted a dream start for Miami FC. What about this? Christian Sorso once again just turning McVay like a top inside the interior, right through the wickets of Drake Callender. He's going to want that one back, but you knew with the quality that Inter had, they were always going to come knocking at the door. Mota into the back post of Borjan, who, for my part, I thought he was terrific for Inter Miami. I think he should be the starting number 9. And then it's an moment between Yedlin, Drake Callender. Are you going to get it? Am I going to get it? Miami FC has a very nice way of creating own goals. But then just the lack of maybe will to clear this one out. We're so good for 98 minutes as Ryan Taylor just goes over the top of Hernandez, and then Telford just leans. When you try to go up and over, you run the risk of doing just that. And then Kamal Miller makes no mistakes about it. And Inter Miami walk into the next round of the Open Cup.
You know, Yedlin, who conceded that own goal, also hit the crossbar in overtime as well. So he nearly atoned for that. The upcoming menu, though, for Miami FC, they get some days off finally, and then they get back to work on the 20th.
Yeah, and you go to California twice, and then down the road to Loudoun, who's a completely different side. But Memphis 901 and RGV, those are going to be extremely important. Memphis 901 starting to find their feet as of late, so going in to that place, it's going to be very difficult for Anthony Pujols. But then RGV, we know all about that, how big the field is, the heat. But Miami FC have the capability and should win that game.
Nothing wrong with going to Southern California for a few days, Ricky. America's finest city, and also Orange County. For Birmingham Legion, what is on tap for them? They get Oakland Roots in a couple days.
It's going to be interesting. The Oakland Roots, just Miami FC just played them 0-0 drive, but so much talent on that roster at Pittsburgh, El Paso, Detroit, and Memphis. Very difficult upcoming games for Tommy Sohn, but you talk about the quality that they have, the depth in the roster, the ability to rotate and have players step up when called upon. For Tommy Sohn, it's a really important month for the USL Championship, trying to create separation between them and players and teams underneath them in the Eastern Conference table.
Yeah, have fun with Bob Lilly's squad in Pittsburgh. They don't concede a whole lot, but you have to figure on May the 27th, they got to eat and they got to get fat against Detroit, who's been laboring. They have 1 win this season out of 8 matches. We're at the break right now. 2-1 is the score. Miami FC got a goal from Christian Sorto in minute number 2, and they have the advantage right now with 45 minutes in the books. At the break right now, welcome back to our FPL halftime report presented by Macron. Learn how FPL is investing in Florida's future at FPL.com/value. With Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm David Gascon. Miami with a 1-goal advantage as we speak. But Ricky, we go around news and notes, and a little bit of a shocker here with Jack Edwards.
Yeah, just the ability that what he's done for USL Championship when he came into office, now when he leaves, just hats off to him, and just so much growth comes to the hands of Jake Edwards, so all the best going forward for him. But then USL and Open Cup, 8 teams remain in the round of 32. We saw what Sacramento Republic did last year. Who's going to be the one to emblem that? And then you have USL Championship on ESPN, Miami FC going to Lynn Family Stadium. That's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, I was sandbagging that in the previous graphic that we have, so I had to apologize, but I insert that one. It'll be a great one, obviously, just in a few days from now against Lewis City, one of the perennials in the Eastern Conference. As far as what's on tap, the upcoming schedule, we kick things off on Friday evening, New Mexico, Rio Grande Valley, Colorado Springs, and El Paso at 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. Colorado Springs taking down Charleston Battery away from home, but El Paso starting to find their footing. But I go down to Saturday, Loudoun United hosting in the 11. Mark Lowry, question marks all over that roster, but not in terms of talent, but just in terms of results. And Loudoun United, a whole different animal under Ryan Martin that has his fingerprints for the first time in its roster. Hartford Athletic hosting Memphis 901, and then Frank Gallup and the boys hosting Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Las Vegas Lights. Las Vegas, have you seen their schedule? It's very interesting. They play at home on Friday, and then on Sunday, quick turnaround, they host San Antonio. So 2 games in 3 days for the Lights.
That's ugly. That is ugly. Isidro Sanchez, we had talked about him a few weeks ago, and they got pulverized by Miami FC 4-1. He lit into that squad. As far as the scoreboard goes and what we got.
You see Phoenix Rising taking care of Loudoun. First win at home for Juan Guerra. Birmingham Legion, we talked about it, nail-biting against Hartford Athletic, taking all 3 points. And El Paso going into San Diego. But you have to think for Nate Miller, the ability to come off the Open Cup, the game that they had against Seattle, had to take something away from that. El Paso takes all 3 points. Oakland and Miami, 0-0. New Mexico, Orange County, and a lot of things are going on in Orange County. Richard Chaplow says goodbye, and then Monterey Bay draws RGV at home.
Phoenix Rising, they win a couple of matches against some of the better clubs. They beat Loudoun United there. They actually snapped a 4-game unbeaten streak by Birmingham to open up the season at Birmingham. So they can do some work. It's just a matter of getting their footing right. But obviously that a challenging 2022. We'll see if 2023 is any different from them moving forward. We're at the break. When we do return, Ricky and I will have some first half highlights and some stats. Miami right now with a 1-goal lead over Birmingham. We shall return.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
No one was born a hero. It's an everyday journey. There are no shortcuts, no days off, no perfect scenarios. Things won't always go the way you expect. But overcoming challenges is part of the game too. Your time is now. When passion runs through you, Become your own hero.
And this broadcast is brought to you by Tata 2, Macron, and Good Greek Moving Storage. And Ricky putting a bow on the first half. We got stats, and a ton of highlights for you.
And it starts off extremely early. Sorto makes no mistake about this dead ball situation. Puts his foot through it, head down. Finds that top corner where the spider sleeps. There's no Spagenberg going to get anything to do with that. You can see what it means to Miami FC. And we're going to see start to have those dream starts for Anthony Pulis. Can get extremely used to it. Aiden Stanley whips his ball in, and you just see just confusion between three players of Birmingham Legion. Agudelo jumps up, Spangenberg stays on his line. Cornell can't get his feet underneath him, and it just trickles in to the back of the net, and Miami FC will take it. But you know the talent that Birmingham Legion has at their disposal on this talent was never going to go down. Just a hold-up play, the ability to bring players in. Agudelo does extremely well. The layoff into Enzo Martinez. Can Maguire do a bit better in terms of his rebound to parry it away? Parries it right down the middle of the field, and you give Enzo Martinez that distance, that opportunity. He's never going to make a mistake, and it's 2-1. That's how we walk into halftime.
And your first half stats brought to you by Takes. You see Miami with the 1-goal difference, but getting outshot 8-4 to Birmingham.
You just see the possession as well for Birmingham as that half went upon. Birmingham started to get a hold of the game in terms of their ball circulation, moving the ball from left to right, finding Martinez, finding Kasim in those half pockets. Just the rotations in the center of the park for Tommy Sohn. But for Anthony Pulis, get on the ball a bit more, feed that front three, get Salazar, Repetto, and Sorzo involved, and get them in around that 18-yard box.
So adjustments. If you're Anthony Pulis, how do you counter and get your offense back in gear? Because as you had mentioned, they went relatively dormant for the second half of the first 45 minutes of play.
I think you look at Florian Velo and Akinyoti, the ability to play this game at their tempo. And you bring in a Mo Hernandez, what that's going to do, he's going to sit next to Paco Craig. That's going to push Aiden Stanley as the left wing back, and Ryan Telfer's shift is done. So this relationship between Hernandez and Paco Craig, very comfortable with each other. Aiden Stanley gives them a different look going forward.
So Miami FC now moving from right to left on your screen. Birmingham going from left to right. Kasim pushing forward, and for Miami FC, it's all about the ability to close. That's one of the things that's been their Achilles heel to open up the years, the inability to close out the opposition. And it was highlighted last week because of the outcome against Inter Miami. And the one substitution brought to you by your superhero movers at Good Greek Moving and Storage. Hernandez in, Telfer out. And for Miami FC, you go all the way back to week number 1, a match in which they played to a draw with FC Tulsa 1-1. Flo Velo scored early on, but Tulsa came right back 90 seconds after to find the equalizer. Ended in a 1-1 draw. They led at Pittsburgh before Pittsburgh came roaring back in the second half to a draw. Couldn't close out Memphis. That ended in a 1-1 draw. So it's not like they haven't had chances to be one of the top tier teams, not only in the Eastern Conference, but in all of USL Championship.
And it's such a difficult technique, I want to say, to perfect for Miami FC. The ability to play when you're leading. It's so easy just to sit back and say we're up 2-0, 1-0, whatever it may be, but you can just see the talent for USL Championship players, the parity in between the league that anyone can beat anyone, never an easy game now. So you need to be turned on and focused from minute 1 to minute 90 plus whatever the stoppage time is. Miami FC still growing into learning how to play with the lead, to play from behind, and to protect your lead as well.
Well, they've got 6 goals in the last 3 matches. Kasim. There's Christian Sordo trying to counter the attack here for Miami. Below, Repetto. Up top with Sordo. Salazar also there. And for Birmingham, although they're down by a goal, they really closed out the first half in style. Do you expect any changes?
I would say probably about the 75th minute. When you have a player like a Nico Brett, like a Tyler Pasher sitting on the bench, you need to get him on the field, especially when, if at that point you're still looking for a goal. The ability to create and bring players in, those players are probably chomping at the bit at the moment to get on the field. There's a sense of calmness between this Birmingham Legion side. You see them looking around when they're down 2-0. Didn't press panic, just played their game model, played their identity, and slowly found that first goal.
Well, Martinez got it. It's his 4th goal of the season. Ooh, that pass nearly got to Smith, but just behind him. And a run here for Repetto, but he's going to be ruled on a foul. And I don't know if that's an agreeable call by you, Ricky, but nevertheless, this should be a booking for Repetto as he's arguing with Damian Chuck.
When we talk about the transition moments, the sloppy turnover in the middle of the park for the Legion, tons of real estate to play direct into the path of Claudio Repetto. We'll take a look at it here. Yeah, it's hand behind the back, the extension. You're always going to get in trouble there. Right in the backside of Carnali. But you love the look there from Sordo. He understands. Turnover, just put it into space and let him go get it.
See the number there for Miami FC. Unbeaten in the last 26 matches when leading at the end of the first half. That's impressive, even with all the draws they've compiled up. Any point's a good point, but you want to try to capture 3 as many times as possible. Below. They're even on numbers right now, Flo. Decent pace to Sorto. Stanley to the left. Sorto takes a shot. That one easily on target managed by Spangenberg. So a couple of shots that have come his way, and he really hasn't had to move a whole lot. Spangenberg came into this contest with a 3-2 record. Goals against at 141, and the save percentage at 68%. Birmingham, who beat Hartford a few days ago, came from behind to disrupt them 3-2. They actually outshot Hartford Athletic 18-14 in that affair. 6-5 with shots on goals. Hernandez goes down. Agudelo, the guilty party. USL Championship announced their team of the week for week number 8. Prosper Kasim, Enzo Martinez with both there. Paco Craig, one of the bench players. You figure if they can continue to win and find ways to get at least 1 goal and prevail, that back line for Miami FC will start getting more accomplishments and more accolades. That stems from winning. Bolu to Salazar. Repetto searching for it. Spangenberg comes out to gobble it up.
But it's a good passage of play there for Miami FC. Very patient in their build-out phase. Bolu was at the thick of everything. Just very calm presence. Connecting his passes, not forcing anything. It's a simple play, but does a lot of the dirty work for Miami FC that sits right in front of that back four, clogs the center channel. Very difficult in the challenge, great ball.
There's Roof. Agudelo is on the far right-hand side asking for service to come his way. Roof. Because seeing that one on goal, McGuire, no rebound. Oh, he put a lot of mustard on that shot. McGuire, fortunate enough, that thing was an arm's length.
We just see how quickly the Legion can combine on top of this 18-yard box, whether it's between Roof, and there's information on this pass. As he just rolls this into the path of Prosper Kasim, it gets him the ability to hit it first time. And McGuire does extremely well to caress and not have any rebound. You see Enzo Martinez, he's so opportunistic, trying to find his brace with the tap in.
And you played on all surfaces throughout your career. collegiately and professionally, is it much more difficult for a keeper to face a shot that skips on turf as opposed to grass?
It's interesting because sometimes it depends on the turf. Sometimes it slows the things down, but it's also it can make it faster and have an awkward bounce on it. But I think if you're Maguire, you train on the surface every single day. You understand how it plays, how it bounces. But as a striker, there's nothing better than having a slick surface, whether it's synthetic. Obviously, you rather play on grass, but if a wet synthetic surface and you hit everything low, you always have to have that secondary run up for an easy tap in, like we saw Enzo Martinez. But
54th minute. Sorto looked like he was pretty comfortably offside. Ball number came his way. Agudelo, Craig there in anticipation of that. Velo. Nice passing to Claudio Repetto, but Mensah there on the intercept. Salazar was the intended target. Smith, that looks like a handball, and it was finally called. Easily identifiable from here to the keys. Anthony Pulis, he's a confident man. I think the one interesting element to his game is he hasn't wavered from week 1 to where we're at week 8. The message has been clear to us, and he feels extremely confident about his club.
No, I think you need to as a head coach. If you have a head coach in the locker room that is constantly changing tactics, is a bit worried and not confident, what does that say for the players? He's supposed to be your leader.
Yeah.
So you look up to him, have that security, that confidence that this is going to work. This is my game plan. It's worked over the years. It's going to work here today with the talent that we have in the locker room. And he has a very sound way of finding the best out of players and getting them to buy in to his system.
Always confident and also critical at times about his team, but he knows that there's areas of improvement, and that's the biggest bonus that he has with his group, unlike maybe in years past with other clubs. Feels like this organization has a good mixture of guys that are on the same page. Christian Soto there with the booking in the 56th minute. I think this goes back, Ricky, to one of your professional yellow cards.
But Smith as a right back, he just gives you a whole different look, the ability to break players with the ball at his feet. Sorto gets caught flat-footed. Needs to be extremely careful now. Yellow card 10 minutes after halftime.
Well, that one ping-ponging around and goes on target. And watch out for Maguire with an alert save there.
I'm not sure what happened there. I don't think anyone really knew. Good ball in with a lot of service, a lot of whip on it.
That was funky. I think it was like bumper car action, and Maguire had to be alert. Comes all the way out the top of the 18 to make a stop. You know, for a guy that has not seen a ton of action, this is only Maguire's second start of the year. He's looked sharp. Even on the goal he gave up to Martinez, he stopped the initial bid.
He's a confident goalkeeper, and that's what you want if you're the back line, whether it's Zendejas, whether it's Maguire, just to have the confidence that they have the ability to bail you out, to make big-time save when called upon. And both of the keepers that Anthony Pulis has on his roster have the ability to do that.
Yeah, if you get any semblance to what they had last year in net, 17 shutouts as a club, it would be a dangerous Miami squad if you get in the postseason with them. Keep in mind, we had mentioned at the top of the show, they are licking their wounds, if you will. Joaquin Rivas out, Benjamin Mines out, Kyle Murphy out, Callan Chapman-Page out.
And those are not just rotation players. Those are big-time players starting not only for this Miami FC side, but every USL Championship side. So if you're Anthony Pulis, this 10-day break between your next game, you're gonna want players to recover and recover quickly.
Well, it's about completing tonight's effort. You see Paco with a little frustration on his face. Paco, his nickname is Gigi. He's nicknamed Gigi because of his grandfather on his mother's side. His first name was Luigi, Italian. Comes from an Italian-Jamaican background. Father's Jamaican, mother is Italian. This one played a little too long for Kasim. That's one of the things that Paco mentioned to us about going to Lake Como as a youth, northern part of Italy, and hanging out there in the beach time. And you got to imagine just having that kind of family and relationship where you can go continent to continent, country to country, and see the world from 30,000 feet. It's got to be a joy as an international, now domestic player.
Also, just the different types of football and cultures he's been around.
Yeah.
Growing up in London, having, obviously, you mentioned the Jamaican roots, the Italian roots as well, coming over here and spending a large portion of his international, or excuse me, his professional career. So just to experience players that are coming in.
No one going off of Salazar. Take a look at Mark Segbers right there. Segbers eclipsing 10,000 minutes in USL Championship. Fantastic accomplishment for him. Congratulations to Mark Segbers. Always those milestone moments, Ricky. 10,000 minutes or 100 goals or 100 points. Salazar right there nursing a delicate injury as saw him fending off a would-be cross, and now he's down on the deck. Salazar being attended to right now. While we have a brief moment, don't forget, don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN Plus, the home of USL, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and much, much more. Make sure you sign up today at plus.espn.com today. We're live here at FIU Stadium in Miami, Florida with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm David Gascon, our entire ESPN crew. Bringing you a brand new week of USL Championship action. We've got a couple substitutions now for Birmingham. These substitutions brought to you by your superhero movers at Good Greek Moving and Storage. Moses Mensah will depart. Tyler Pasher will be coming in. Gabriel Alves as well. Pasher's one of the guys that you had marked before he came on air tonight, Ricky. He does damage. He did so with Pittsburgh a couple of years ago. Scored 10 goals in 13 contests back in 2020. So you can certainly fill it up.
He's just a fantastic talent. A wicked left foot, the ability to find spaces between lines, to create his own space, beat you 1v1, combination play. He's going to have a big say. 30-plus minutes left in this match.
So Pasher coming in. Well, this one played through really short, too, for McGuire as Claudio Repetto trying to get in front of that attempt. Salazar not looking comfortable, needless to say.
And just an awkward ball. If you're a back line, you never want this thing to bop around, especially inside your 6-yard box. Asadio unable to get his hips around it. You just see how dangerous the Legion are on set pieces.
Yeah, Siadou so far in 8 matches plus now has not recorded a point. No goals, no assists. Enzo Martinez has 4 goals and a couple of helpers. Prosper Kasim, no goals yet, but 3 assists. Sergei Damianchuk talking right now to Claudio Repetto as we get a look at Michael Lawrence. Another substitution brought to you by your superhero movers at Good Greek Moving and Storage. Lawrence, the first one in. And these changes right now for Anthony Pulis, do you think this is more for defensive responsibilities, Ricky, or is it because the gas tank is getting a little low?
No, I think you bring in Dennis Duwuna just to sit in the center of the field, just to secure maybe those second balls, the runners that Birmingham Legion like to play, and within him just to give you a spark of energy in that front line, Michael Lawrence.
Pasher there.
And he's a different look than a Claudio Repetto. Repetto more of a target, back to goal, number 9. Michael Lawrence gives you the ability to just turn around and go in behind with his pace, his power. Anthony Peel has had a lot of high praise for the young man, is taking full responsibility of the opportunity in front of him.
Make sure you stay with us to the end of the contest. Ricky and myself will have your top to 2 man of the match. Siadu, broken up by Bolu, nicely done. Kassim, out wide. Birmingham desperate for the equalizer. They were down 2-0 in the first 16 minutes of action. Lawrence right now, who comes in on a 25-day contract. A multi-sport athlete in high school. He's actually a local guy too, grew up in Miramar, Florida. Birmingham keeping the pressure on right now. Kassim, Siadu to Smith, the cross. That one broken up by Hernandez. Hernandez is a player that you were critical about in the Inter-Miami game, so it'll be fascinating, Ricky, to see what kind of response he has here tonight, because there were ebbs and flows to his game in 90 minutes plus the extra time too.
He had a very difficult time in that game, just dealing with balls getting whipped in, whether it was getting his feet underneath him, challenging for balls. But throughout his career here for Miami FC in the season, I thought he's been spectacular. I mean, Chapman Page goes out, who is going to be the man to step up? And I think he's came in, and if you're Anthony Peels, have to be extremely pleased with him. And he's going to be a massive part for Miami FC going forward.
Lawrence doing a good job of trying to split the defenders, and he had 2 of them on 1, and Lawrence is asking why.
And you bring Dennis Zawuna in, that pushes up Florin Velo to a line higher. Michael Lawrence has the ability to stretch and test the shape. We're an awkward collision between Kavita, Cronali, and Lawrence coming together. Just being a nuisance on that front line for Michael Lawrence.
Pasher. Bolu tripped on his own accord. He appears to be okay. Lawrence couldn't get to it. Here's Smith. Martinez had a bid on it, but McGuire soft with that left. Ever since the 16th minute mark, where Miami FC, courtesy of an own goal from Max Cronali, it has taken a completely different shape to this contest. It's been all Birmingham, it feels like. Possession, shots, quality of attempts. And the first half shots in this thing were 8-4 in favor of Birmingham. It's now 10-5. Each team with nearly an equal amount of shots on target. 4 to Birmingham's 3 for Miami FC. Siadu. Kassim. Segber's trying to hold service there, and McGuire just before that thing near the goal line. And Damien check. Oh, look at Paco Craig. The 6. He's curious because it's now been ruled as a corner kick.
The nice little battle between Mark Segbers and Alves on that far side. Alves very crafty, attack-minded left back. So Segbers is going to have his hand full. He's calling a corner kick. He touches the ball when it goes out of bounds.
Agudelo, poor delivery on that.
There's a terrific strike there from Sordo. Opens up the scoring. The pace and the technique that he takes to pull this off to beat Spangenberg to his near side, and then Aiden Stanley. Talk about the wing backs for Miami FC, whether it's Curtis Thorne, whether it's Aiden Stanley, always whipping the ball with quality. And Cornally just a bit flat-footed.
Spangenberg ditched the
Great
cap.
touch.
Now he's been clean ever since. Possession right now favoring Birmingham, 57-43. Both teams have made substitutions in the second half. Stanley not one of them. He's gone wire to wire so far. Duuna on retreat. Here's Curtis Thorne. All the way back to Jake McGuire. McGuire made 4 stops in that road trip to Oakland. Poor delivery there, and it's resulting in a turnover. Here's Pasher. Nearly a clean break for Martinez. That one chipped in on McGuire. You saw Thorne asking for the near set official's arm to go up for an offside indication. Nevertheless, that stems back from the turnover for McGuire.
Yeah, he needs to be a bit cleaner with the ball at his feet. You just see how Birmingham Legion likes to swarm and try to win the ball up higher up the field. If you can bypass that press, give this young man the opportunity to run into the real estate behind Cornally and Kavita. It's something Anthony Pilos is going to see a bit more of as we approach 20+ minutes left in this match.
Lawrence playing his ball at Nova Southeastern College. Played soccer, football, and basketball in Pembroke Pines. So not a long commute away from where we're at FIU Stadium. But the 23-year-old doesn't have a lot of time left in his 25-day contract, so he's trying to make the most of it, not only for the immediate, but also the long-term future. And Miami FC trying to gobble up as much quality time with him as possible. Chance here for Lawrence, using positioning against Smith. Below, chips this one with an idea, and Salazar is going to have to hustle for it, and he works hard to win it. 71st minute, Bolu. Stanley. Can hear the chatter on the pitch. Heard a lot of it from Birmingham. Velo here with an attempt to cross. That one almost found the back of the net again with an own goal from Birmingham. And now miscommunication there with Smith and Pasher.
There needs to be better movement on that front line for Miami FC. Whether you are Marco Lawrence or Salazar, someone needs to get across that first post. It's a good ball in from Florian Velo, but just no one there to make that initial run to pull a player out of position. So little things for Miami FC that need to get cleaned up in that final third.
Segbers to Velo. Velo, Stanley, Lawrence in the 18, Salazar around it. Duuna with some real estate here. Fake the pass, takes the shot on goal, and he scores! 71st minute magic for Dennis Duuna, his first goal of the season. Fake a pass, take a shot, and there you go, the insurance marker. It's 3-1 Miami. That goal brought to you by Wheels. And Ricky, for Miami, not playing passive, but on their heels. And all of a sudden, the last 120 seconds, more aggression, and Dennis Duuna, the lucky recipient.
Now you want someone to take the initiative. Whether it's Dennis Duuna, does fantastic. Opens up his hips and fakes the pass, like you said, David. Realizes the back line for Birmingham Legion just spreads apart. No one steps up to initiate contact. Let me just try my luck. Terrific technique into this far corner. Take a bow with a dance with it as well. Miami FC 3-1 up.
Well, one might ask at home, if you're in Miami, what's gotten into these guys? They don't know and they don't care. They scored 4 against Las Vegas back on April the 23rd. They scored a couple of goals against Inter Miami just a week ago. And today they got 3 more. So that's 9 goals in the last 4 matches. And these 4 matches have been played over the last 11 days. So oddly enough, they found a good rhythm. And this goes back to the highlight from Paco Craig, Ricky, where he said, I like playing in this amount of games in this short amount of time because the rhythm and the flow that we're in.
It's all about getting a rhythm, getting the confidence within the team. And there's no better confidence booster when you see the ball hit the back of the net. But this man, Mikey Lopez, he's going to have something to say. The ability and the experience and the success that he's had in the USL Championship, just him and Asadu sitting right in front of that back line. Such a special player for Tommy Sohn.
So Dewuna's first goal of the season is a monster one. It gives Miami FC a 2-goal cushion. And so now with that 2-goal lead, we'll see if they can build on it or at least make it stand. Pasher delivering a line drive into the wall. That one was evicted, and that header is going to go off the mark. So Mikey Lopez, Ricky, as you mentioned, now into the contest. How about this, though? For Flo Below, he picked up his second assist of the season. Although he may not be scoring, it's always important to add to your stat sheet, and Flo is doing that tonight.
And how can you affect the game if you're not scoring goals? That's always a big question mark for attacking players. First thing that comes to mind is assists. How can I help and give my teammates a good opportunity to find the back of the net, but also just a willingness to work and make runs for each other, open up space for each other. Any coach in USL Championship says, look, as number 9 attacking players, you're always going to go through ups and downs in terms of rhythm and form. But how do you affect the game when you're not putting the ball in the back of the net? That's the next best thing an attacking player can do.
Well, Dennis Dewuna's first goal of the season brought to you by Wheels. Miami 3, Birmingham 1. Tripped up on the play is Lopez. Birmingham is undefeated in their last 4 contests with Miami head-to-head. In fact, when they played last year, it was to a 1-1 draw. Lamar Walker scored the game's first goal for Miami in the 32nd minute. Runapapa got the equalizer late in that affair in 69th minute. But outside of that, Birmingham has won 2, have not lost any, and also played a couple of draws to Miami. Birmingham looking to cut this thing in half, but get off the goalpost. Short side against McGuire. Well, they'll pull the trigger from anywhere, won't they?
Just so much talent. Once you get to that final third, ability to produce magic. Kassim looks across the box, there's no one in there. I'll have a go, don't mind if I do, laces through it. McGuire does just enough to kiss it off the post.
Well, Kassim had an angle on it. McGuire getting just enough. Alves. Back outside of Mikey Lopez from Mission, Texas. Enzo Martinez, a troublemaker. He's already scored in this contest, as to be expected. Alves. Well, that one will drop Curtis Thorne to his knees, but he's up quickly. Back to the sequence, Ricky.
He overloaded in the center of the field now for Birmingham Legion. This ball rotates to his left-hand side. You see Kassim, a little peek up, understands if I put this across, there's a sea of blue jerseys. Let me just have a go-to myself. The technique on that left foot, McGuire, lucky enough, just pushes it off to across the post, excuse me.
Massive 77th minute. Agudelo matched up with Hernandez, giving up some sizes, Moises. This one played around and through. Martinez, some trouble. Enzo to a knee, gets up, trying to draw a foul, cannot do so.
And it's terrific defending once again from Paco Craig. This cutback ball from Alves. Enzo Martinez gets on the end of it. Paco Craig stays his ground, does not go and bite for the fake and negates that man to pull the trigger. Just terrific defending from the captain from Miami FC.
So Miami FC trying to do something they have only done once this year. Win a match. Came into this affair playing to nothing but draws. 1, 2, and 5. And you make sure you stay with us at the end of this contest, as Ricky and myself will have the Tata 2 man of the match. It's not really a discussion either, because Ricky gets all the glory and gets to make the decision on both of our accords. So it's all you, Ricky. I got a couple people. I'm thinking Sorto, I'm thinking Dewuna, and I'm also thinking Jake McGuire. Those are a few of the guys.
Not a bad list.
We'll see how that pans out. Of course, you got to finish, and so Miami's got at least 12 minutes to work with, and Birmingham has a ton of firepower to get back into this thing.
You see the ideas for the Legion now. What the players that have come onto the field, the spacing. Kasim stays high and wide. Now their passer has the freedom to come into the interior as he sees fit. But this man sits at the base of everything, Mikey Lopez. It gives Asiadu the freedom to join into a line higher, as we've seen Florin Velo now as well. So very tactical changes for both of these managers.
Mikey Lopez hasn't played a lot for Birmingham this year. It's only his second appearance. Martinez has been all over the carpet tonight. He's played well in spirited fashion on this run for Alves. Played through, and Curtis Thorne again. Disruption from him. Kavita looks like he's departing on this cross, and there's Jake McGuire. So Nico Brett coming in. Substitution brought to you by your superhero movers at Good Greek Moving and Storage. And Brett, if you're thinking about goals, he's another one of them. He's got 3 on the season to complement Enzo Martinez's 4. So the good news for Birmingham is he's fresh. The bad news is you don't need a goal. You need 2 of them. And there is Nico there. Nico from Kingston, Jamaica. And 9 goals and 3 assists in 17 matches in 2020. He had 18 in 2021. And the gaudy numbers for him, 3 goals and an assist. Oh, that one just off the mark from Lawrence. He'd love to have that thing back. And now it looks like we'll have a foul. In the 81st minute, Damian Chuck delivering an Asiadu and Flo Velo locking toes right now.
And moments ago, Asiadu and Aiden Stanley going at it, barking at each other. But it's a good ball into Michael Lawrence. The ability just not clean enough to find below. You can see, I think it's a secondary leg, the swooping motion to catch Aiden Stanley on the ground from Asiadu.
Asiadu and Flo Velo getting together. Asiadu is only 5'6", Velo at 5'9". They're doing a little bit of chirping. All in the competitive nature of tonight's contest. No harm, no foul. Of course, it's one of the marvels of what they call a hot microphone. You can pick some of that chatter up. Stanley appears to be okay, and so he'll play on. Let's see what Aiden does here. Not his best effort on that attempt. Dewuna, Salazar. Dewuna again tries his luck at his second, but that one's not going to find the mark. Miami FC have 5 shots on target in this contest. That's eclipsing what they do for the season average. Season average is only about 3.5. But you put things on target and good things are going to happen to you. A little casual on that pass for Flo Velo. It looked like tired legs in that attempt. Kasim, the cross. Agudelo does not have a ladder to get to that thing. You got multiple players down now for both Birmingham and Miami. Salazar bit the turf just seconds ago, and he's throbbing in pain. Well, don't forget, Miami is going to have about 10 days off worth of work before they get back on the pitch against Lou City on ESPN2. You see briefly with Salazar going down. Michael getting the start tonight. It's his fourth start of the year. Sorto, Cronale in an own goal, and Dennis Duuna, the markers for Miami FC. Enzo Martinez, the lone strike for Birmingham. Duuna did his work in the 71st minute, and Flo Velo picked up the assist, his first of the year. So Velo's got a goal and an assist on the campaign. Sorto with a couple of goals in the season. Paco Craig, 2 goals. Oddly enough, I don't know if that's good news or bad news. We haven't spoken a whole lot about Paco Craig's game tonight.
I think if you're Anthony Pulis, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the back line for Miami FC, but just little things here and there. We talked about moments ago, the inability or the ability not to dive in, especially inside that 18-yard box when Enzo Martinez is dancing on the ball. We look at him and Stanley Curtis Thorne, Mo Hernandez, everything has been fairly simple in that back line for Miami FC. Everything has been in front of them.
Yeah.
No one's really testing and going in behind to stretch that back line. And for a center back, you ask any single one around the world, they'd rather have the game in front of them than behind them. So Birmingham Legion's been extremely dangerous, but it's all been combination plays on top of that 18-yard box.
Here's Salazar after grimacing a bit. Velo with a charge. Velo looking for Lawrence, and that's going to result in a corner kick. That's a rare one tonight for Miami FC. It'll be brought to you by your Volkswagen dealers of South Florida. And this is a delicate spot for Birmingham to try to get back into it.
I think you have Florian Velo as a number 10 in the system. Probably feels a bit more comfortable in that final third. He always has the quality to provide that final action. Ronaldo does extremely well to sniff this one out and put it for a corner kick.
Thorne doing a little groundskeeping. '86th minute. Thorne working long, but contact from Hernandez, and that is not a great play by Hernandez. Tell you what, they had an opportunity on that weak side with Paco Craig, and Craig, who had the header on it, didn't put it on target, but nevertheless, Hernandez has to do better on that attempt. Agudelo and Paco Craig mixing it up. Well, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the offense of Birmingham and the defense of Miami, who would prevail. And so far, the defense has won this matchup.
Just not clicking, especially once you get in and around that 18-yard box for the Legion. The quality that Tommy Son will expect from his boys, that they have the ability to test Maguire a bit more.
Jake Maguire trying to go unbeaten in back-to-back matches. He'd love to pick up a W after the draw a few days ago with Oakland last Saturday. Man from Pomona, California. It's funny hearing Paco Craig talk about the swing when they went to California. He said the weather, although the temperature was the same, there's no humidity. He felt like it was a breath of fresh air for them going into Northern California. Good job again by Stanley, sacrificing his body there.
He's had a very solid game, Aiden Stanley. We've seen him play at the wing back position, but also the left side of the 3 center backs. Just a true professional, positionally comfortable on the ball. There's a very bright future for him going forward for the Miami FC.
One thing Anthony Pulis mentioned to us is every match during this 11-day span has provided different looks. But they've answered every challenge as well. Lawrence from outside. Oh, he just missed the corner. Well, that man with a heater and Ricky didn't miss by much.
I think he's caught between 2 minds as he play into Salazar. He was just always waiting for Salazar to make that darting run across that back line. But as Salazar continues to spread wide, opens up his hips and just hits it extremely well. I'll tell you what, like you said, David, just so unlucky that ball's not maybe a yard to the left.
Well, the important factor in that shot from Lawrence is that gives his teammates, not that they don't already know it, but it gives them a heads up in game situation. Get that man the ball with a little bit of real estate and he can really uncork one.
And he's impressed. Since coming into this Miami FC roster, a handful to play against, a nightmare. So energetic, so powerful, so paceful, but also has the ability to pull the trigger like we've seen from 25, 30 yards.
And don't mistake the opportunity he has now with the mentality that he's got to have when you're playing on a 25-day contract, because there's nothing guaranteed once your term is up. Some players have those guarantees, they have the rite of passage, if you will, but for Lawrence, time runs out in a hurry.
It's always interesting, just we talk about the mentality when you're in that situation. So many times players want to do it all when they step on the field and maybe become a bit selfish, say, I need to show my worth, but it's actually the opposite. Playing to the team does better, you look better. I think Michael Lawrence has embodied that. He's been very unselfish when called upon, but when he has his opportunities, he takes it upon himself to ask questions of the opposition. And Anthony Pulis says there's no mistake about it, the young man can play at this level.
Well, the one thing that he can have on his resume is since he's joined the club against Las Vegas on April 23rd, Miami FC is undefeated.
Yep.
Four minutes of stoppage time. Miami beat Las Vegas. Fell in penalties to Inter Miami, but that was in US Open Cup, obviously with an MLS foe. Played to a draw with Oakland. And they're moments away from closing out the best team in the Eastern Conference. And if that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. This one played all the way through, and McGuire coming out. Great spacing from McGuire, closing the gap quickly against Kasim. Or I beg your pardon, that was Nico Brett. Salazar here, trying to put the finishing touches on an expensive night for Birmingham. He can't do it. Good heads-up play there by Aiden Stanley. Again, after this contest, Miami FC will have a few days to just kick up the feet, relax, maybe take an ice bath or two and relax. They don't get their next opponent until the 13th, which is Lou City, Martinez. Brett could not maintain possession of it. Salazar is going to have it, and he'll switch the pitch. Forgot something. For Birmingham, they get right back on the horse in 3 days from now. They take on Oakland back in Alabama. but they're in danger of falling for the third time this season. They have 16 points coming into tonight with a 5-2-1 record. Segber's here. A great run by Mark. Shoulder tackle there as he goes down just outside the 18. Damian Chuck looking at the far side official for confirmation on where that foul occurred, and Anthony Pulis is asking maybe for another penalty.
And the only question from Mark Segber's per Anthony Pulis was just get yourself more involved in the attacking third. Just turns on the jet so you can just see the contact makes outside that 18-yard box. Mark Segber's has the ability to break down teams with this pure pace and willingness to get in behind and stretch the opposition. We haven't seen it as much as Miami FC and Anthony Pulis would like. There's a glimpse of it, just putting this back line on their heels. This terrific work in the 94th minute there from Mark Segber's.
And tonight for Segber's, logging 10,000 plus minutes of USL Championship action. Salazar being asked to walk off the pitch from Sergei Damianchuk. Salazar all smiles right now, and for good reason. He's been fantastic on the night. Salazar will depart. Tell you what, Salazar certainly worn it. You see the little pebbles from the turf. He went toe-to-toe with Birmingham, and he's played well. Lawrence will just bleed some clock. But this is impressive, make no mistake about it. Birmingham looked a little flat-footed to open up the contest, and Miami came storming out of the gate, and they were promptly rewarded with it. Christian Sordo, his second goal of the regular season. He did so in just the second minute of this affair. And then an own goal in the 16th minute gave Miami FC a 2-0 advantage. Dennis Duwuna added to it in the second half. And they were the better team on the night, and they were rewarded. And for just the second time this season, Miami FC records a W, and they do so against the best team in the Eastern Conference. Miami FC holds serve at home. They win here tonight in convincing fashion, Ricky. 3-1's the final.
And what a terrific win for Miami FC. Anthony Pulis saying, start early, scoring goals for fun at the moment, but also defensively been terrific, spot on, keeping everything compact, letting this Birmingham Legion side play around them, not through them. Anthony Pulis needs to be extremely pleased with this performance after this such amount of high volume games and such amount of short days. Anthony Pulis has to be extremely happy, the manager for Miami FC.
Oh, and please enlighten us. We got our Tata 2 man of the match. Who is it going to be this evening?
I mean, when you score a goal like that, it has to be Dennis Duwuna. Comes in as a sub. First goal for Miami FC in Miami FC colors. Just terrific insertion from the substitution. Dennis Duwuna, Tata 2's man of the match.
Well, it just felt like as soon as Duwuna scored that goal, the air was let out of the sails in the balloon of Birmingham. Any thoughts of a comeback bid were quickly nullified on that punch from Duwuna. So his first goal of the year, and he's our Tata 2 man of the match. So Duwuna with the marker, Christian Sorto with the second of the year, and Miami FC at home upsets Birmingham Legion. Ricky and I will have some post-game highlights, some stats. We close up shop, but Miami wins it. 3-1's the final. We'll be back.
Some people think Miami is just flamingos and palm trees.
And hell yes, we have badass sunsets.
But Miami's Little Havana,
Doral,
Little Haiti,
Hialeah,
Wynwood, Coconut Grove,
Kendall,
Calle Ocho, Sweetwater, Homestead,
cortaditos y coladas
empanadas y croquetas.
is so much more. This is the 305.
This is who we really are. This is what we are all about.
I am Latino.
I'm a disruptor.
I am LGBTQ.
I am a villain.
I am a mother.
I am Haitian.
I am an athlete.
I am an activist.
I am a king.
I am American Dream.
I am the future.
I am.
I am
Miami FC.
Last call here from FIU Stadium. Miami pulls off the upset tonight, beating top-ranked Birmingham Legion. 3-1 is the final score. They're now unbeaten in 4 straight, 2-0-2. And Ricky, time to take a look now at their full-time stats and highlights from each side of the pitch.
And it starts off extremely early. Sarto's apologies needed. The way that he just ropes this thing into that far corner. Spangenberg has no opportunity. The pace, the precision, the technique. It's such a difficult to hit from that distance. To go goalkeeper side, when he's in rhythm, when he's a confident player, Christian Sarto is top for Miami FC. And then you create your own luck. Aiden Stanley whipped the ball into a dangerous situation. But if Cornelius going to want this one back, it's an uh-oh moment. Just caught on his heels. Can't get his feet underneath him. You can just see it comes in at pace. Agudelo jumps up. Spangenberg doesn't go off his line. Corneli hits off his right foot into the back of the net. But this goal is just terrific here from Agudelo. The hold-up play, the ability to bring in Enzo Martinez as he understands if I close the gap, it doesn't give the secondary run for Enzo Martinez. Can Maguire do a bit better in terms of the spillage away from goal down the middle? Enzo Martinez makes no mistake about the second bite of the apple, and you thought Birmingham Legion was going to find a second goal to tie this up, but Miami FC, Duenas Deuna scored a terrific goal, walk home with all 3 points.
Yeah, and for the 8th time in 9 contests for Birmingham, they scored a goal, but tonight was not good enough. Deuna kind of let things out and let it loose for his first goal of the season. You see the goals, the differential, 3-1, the final for Miami. Shots, well, Birmingham had a 2-1 advantage there, but the ones on target, and Miami had a high efficiency rate. You see 3 goals on the 5 shots, albeit one was an own goal, but nevertheless impressive for the home team.
And I think if you're Anthony Peel's extremely pleased with how you were with the ball and how you took care of it, but also the ability to just absorb pressure when you weren't on the ball, to stay compact, to keep everything in front of you. You look at Birmingham Legion's opportunities, no clear-cut opportunities, just so good defensively, and that's something that comes as a staple from Anthony Peel's, and it takes good take all 3 points, and you have a well-deserved little couple days off now. Well,
since they signed Michael Lawrence to a 25-day contract, Miami FC unbeaten in 4 straight at 2-0-2. The record right now goes to 2-2-5 at 11 points for Birmingham Legion. They fought a 5-3-1. Next contest for them is on the 6th against Oakland. Miami lost some time off on the 13th. They'll get back to it against Louisville. For my broadcast partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm David Gascon. Hope you enjoyed this one. Miami wins it. 3-1 is the final. Have a great week, everyone. So long.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.